The following is a presentation of the NABL.
Welcome to tonight's game. This one's going to be good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We're underway here in Dallas, Texas. LaShawn Murphy right up.
Here he goes.
He rolls it in.
You know what game is? That's when you play.
He's going to take it all the way. Oh, my goodness gracious.
And it's going to be out of bounds. Oh, great save.
Oh, my goodness. We feel like we can go out and dominate.
Slams it home and closes it out with authority.
That's game. That's game.
Welcome. That is NABL basketball.
Though a wise man once said, you can never go home again, I say, you can always come back here to the BackCourt. Welcome to the BC with KB on the NABL network. And no, I am not here to recite poetry or provide insightful literary verses to you. Yeah, no kidding. But hey, we are now past the halfway point of this 2017 season in the North American Basketball League. And goodness gracious, was Week 8 a huge one in the NABL. So let's jump right in. Open up your newspapers. Kids, those are those things that used to arrive that were made out of actual never mind. Let's just go to the BackCourt headlines. Yeah, clinching, clutch, and clinging. Let's start with the first one. You know, sometimes you get so spoiled in life, so used to something that you truly don't know what you got while you have it. All right, maybe we are getting scholarly. Where's my hat? Thank you. By the way, congrats to all you graduates and all of that. Good luck. It gets tough. But through all the pomp and circumstance of yet another NABL season, we must realize and truly appreciate what we are seeing when we look at the Atlanta show with no signs of slowing down at any point. The show already in week number 8 have now clinched the NABL's Eastern Southern Division. How about that? Doing so by taking down the capital city Cardinals in Raleigh. This was on the road, and the show wins 140-101. And that also moves Atlanta to 7-0 on this season. Still undefeated. So for a BackCourt exclusive, because that's what we do here, let's head to Hotlanta. And the head coach of the show once again, always good to meet up and talk to you, David Kessler. Well, what do you know? Another solid outing and, of course, another win. 140-101 this past weekend, Coach, over Capital City. Your nearest competitor in the standings in the East. And all that really stood in your way to clinching a playoff spot. Coach, it's only the halfway point of the season. You realize that, right?
Yes. It's still early.
It's still early, but the Atlanta show has been rolling just like we've come to expect throughout. Talk about, the recent games and certainly this past weekend.
Well, we've been playing pretty well, especially the last couple of weekends. Had Panama City come into town 2 weekends ago, and really played well against them, had a big win. And then, knew we had a real tall task ahead of us, on our trip to Raleigh.
Yeah.
We really knew that they would be a different team. They would have a full squad. They play much better at home, history shows. But, again, we just, I wish I knew what it was. I'd write a book, and
I'd buy that book.
But we just continue to play well and handle our opponents.
Well, Paul Parks, 27 points. Honestly, a triple-double, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals. Josh Montgomery came up huge, too, with 35 points. Since that week number 4, 119-117 nail-biter over the Vulcans, the show has defeated the last 4 opponents you faced by an average of over 38 points. I mean, the show seems to only get stronger as the season rolls on, Coach.
Yeah, well, again, just like I said last year, these guys are focused. They love to play the game. They just seem to be on a mission. And, we stress defense, and we know our offense is going to take care of itself, but we continue to stress defense, and I think that's a big key to the margins being so wide.
When you talk about focus, as you brought up, you've coached in the high school ranks for many, many years across the Atlanta area, went up into the college ranks. You've coached kids a lot. Now, these are professionals, but when you get to a point like this, no team has ever had 2 back-to-back perfect seasons in professional sports, at least as far as we could find in our research department. Now, in college, it's happened a lot, but, with the 5 remaining games that you have, is that the drive that keeps these players motivated? Because, you're starting to become the John Wooden of the NABL. You realize that, right?
No, I don't know about that. That's a stretch right there. But to your question, yeah, I think this is it's very important to these guys, to remain unbeaten. And I think that is a big part of the motivation. But as you said, I've coached kids from 15 years old up to these guys, professional men, and with the high school kids, 16, 17 years old, you never know what you're going to get from one day to the next. Right. I've always said that, we got to be a little bit crazy to put our livelihood in the hands of 16 and 17-year-old kids, but with these guys, they're men, they're mature, they're professionals, they're motivated, focused, and like I said, I do believe staying unbeaten is very important to them, and that is a big part of their motivation.
Now, all that being said, Saturday may very well be your toughest test of the season, certainly for the rest of the season, probably. A surging Huntsville force that has really turned it around, made some nice moves before the trade deadline. At least you have home court in this one, but what does Atlanta have to do to keep that record flawless against, literally, the force out of Huntsville?
Well, we know that Huntsville is going to be tough coming in, and we've still got Birmingham coming in as well. But speaking of Huntsville this weekend, they have a nice ball club. They played us tough at their place, and we just have to continue to play show basketball, which is get after it on defense and rebound the ball and transition. If we do that, we feel like we'll give ourselves a shot against anybody.
Do you have the rings yet?
We do not. Oh. They are supposed to be delivered the 1st of June.
Okay,
so,
I knew it was soon.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, and I know you've got some championship rings from over the years and whatnot and stuff. You're going to sport this one, I would think, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you for the time once again. Best of luck against Huntsville this weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon, no doubt.
Always a pleasure, Ken.
Now, it could have been a division clinching weekend as well in the Eastern's Northern Division. But some cards just had to fall just right for the Huntsville Force to do just that. Well, first, Huntsville had to win at home against the Music City Kings, which they did. Dallas Jones, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals in that Huntsville victory. But they also needed some help from their Alabama rival, Birmingham Vulcans, who, if the Vulcans had beat the visiting Southern Illinois Pharaohs at home, well, there you go. Huntsville had it. They would clinch. Well, I don't know. Was it a jab maybe from one Bama team to another? I don't know. Because the Pharaohs come in and beat Birmingham 118-100. So not only does that keep the Force from claiming the division, but hey, it puts the Pharaohs right back in the hunt against Huntsville. So close, yet so far away. I was that kid, actually. And now I want pie. Let's talk about being clutch. With a week already as big as this one was, there were even bigger moments that went down in the NABL. None perhaps bigger than what you saw in the finale of our NABL TV Game of the week. The Dallas Hoyas playing host to the Miss Lou Warriors, an NABL instant classic. Let's take you back to what went down, okay? 101-100. The Warriors in the lead, but Dallas with the ball in only 6 seconds left. Then this happened.
Bruce Barron trying to swing around. Moving bodies. Gets it in. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Barron floats it in. 1 second remains. There will be 1 second at least put on the clock. 102-101. Hoyas on top.
So the Hoyas got this right. They got it at this point. Well, 2 seconds left on the clock at this point, ladies and gentlemen. And then enter Cordarius Johnson and the Warriors have one final play, one final shot. Inbounding from the near side. Well, let's take a look.
Stranger things in the NABL have happened, though. Can the Warriors turn it around? 2 ticks remaining. It'll be an inbound and a shot. Inbounding, Jamarcus Weatherspoon. Looking to find Cordarius Johnson. He's had the big shot all day. He sinks it! 103-102 buzzer beater. The Miss Lou Warriors win over the Dallas Hoyas.
Talk about clutch. 103-102 Warriors. The Warriors stun Dallas at home. Here is what the hero had to tell us after the game.
Welcome back to Dallas, Texas, the X-Line Center here on NABL TV, and the game of the week, an instant classic after the 103-102 buzzer-beating win in regulation as Miss Lou downs Dallas on their home court. And I am here alongside our NABL TV Game of the Week, Player of the Week, Cordarius Johnson, lucky number 7 indeed. You had 26 points in the game. You only had 1 field goal and bucket in the fourth quarter, but it was the most important with 2 seconds remaining. Walk us through that final play.
Yeah, well, the play was actually for my teammate, Ronald Ellis, but I set the screen and I just slipped to the corner and I was open. I was able to knock down the shot.
And you got a great coach, too, with Calvin Thomas. Talk about his tutelage and leadership and what he teaches you guys, because I know you were practicing even after a road trip yesterday, 9 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, Calvin, he's always pushing us to do the right things, just playing Warriors basketball.
Fantastic. Well, they head back to – well, actually, you stay in Dallas. You got to take on the DFW United tomorrow, so get a good night's sleep and a big matchup against the Western Conference leaders tomorrow. Our player of the game, congratulations, Cordarius.
Thank you.
There you go, 26 points. And, oh, by the way, LaShawn Murphy is coming to town too, Miss Lou. So the Western Conference powers may have shifted here on the NABL Game of the Week.
So Miss Lou downs Dallas at the last second. Could they take down the other team from Big D? Well, the DFW United, that just happened to be their opponent the next day. Why not? Why not make it overtime, right? They do. As the Warriors let the United slip back into this one and slip past Miss Lou, taking the win, DFW 116-112. Now that coming after the day before when the United fought back from down 15 to win over the Knights. This game in Austin, 135-133 United. We all know there's not enough hours in the day, okay? But maybe there just aren't in a game either at this point. What you want, but if you trust... Okay. All right, we do have a standing rule on the backcourt. No singing. For obvious reasons.
Say that again!
Another thing that is clearly obvious, the San Antonio Lions, they have been clutch all throughout 2017, especially at home, which they were when Houston came in and just got pounded. 141-125. It sends the Lions to 6-1 and tied atop the West with DFW, which, oh, by the way, they just happened to meet this weekend on Saturday in San Antonio. Funny how that works out, isn't it? And when it comes to our clutch performers of week number 8, well, here we go. You've seen already the artistry of the first of our two players in Week 8, all right? Cordarius Johnson. But let's see it again. Yeah. I'm going to make a GIF out of that and spread it all over the web.
Ooh, that's nice.
It is. Cordarius Johnson of Miss Lou with his 26 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, and none bigger than that final bucket to make up that 26 points. Whew. Now you add to that, congratulations to Southern Illinois Pharaoh Ken Buckner, who notched himself a triple-double, 19 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists in the win over the Birmingham Vulcans, and it just so happens we have him here on the backcourt. Well, with a bona fide triple-double of 19 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, first off, congratulations, Ken Buckner, being one of the Week 8 NABL Players of the Week, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It was a big effort from you. It was a big team effort, as always seems to be the case with Southern Illinois. I mean, alongside your teammates, Chris Bryant, who had 27 points, Rakeem Dickerson dropped down 30. Talk about last week's win. It was a big one on the road against the Birmingham Vulcans.
Well, like you said, it was a great team effort. That's where it all started from. We were sharing the ball, playing hard on both ends, and we executed down the stretch. We stayed together and played as one unit, one sound, one band, and it carried us over the top for a win.
Now, Southern Illinois, this win moves to 4-1 overall now. More importantly, 3-1 within the Eastern's Northern Division. 5 left to play. 3 of those within the division. Your win on Saturday, it also kept Huntsville from clinching. Now, you need a little help, possibly have to play perfect the rest of the way, but what's the Pharaohs' mindset as you try to steal back that top spot in the North?
Well, after taking that loss, it kind of humbled us a little bit, So we're taking it one game at a time, playing hard, practicing hard, and our focus at all-time high right now.
Now, we had your coach on, Jeff Mallory, a few weeks back on the backcourt. He talked about some of the special things that are going on in Carbondale, Illinois, home of the Pharaohs. Your team does a lot more than just play ball, man. I mean, you're active in the community like crazy, big into charity. Talk about that footprint that the Pharaohs are making in the community over there.
Well, it's a first-year organization, so that's really important, getting the city behind you. So we knew coming in here that was going to be one of our main focus, and we always reach out to the kids. We always try to, tell the youth, try to be perfect role models for them, and that's what it's all about. So you have to be out in the community like that.
It's been, as you said, first year for the Pharaohs, but you guys have played anything but like an expansion team, my friend. Talk about your team overall and just, your first year in the NABL. What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
First off, I mean, it's real fun for one, being with a group of guys who all want to get better as individuals and also have the same goal in mind, to come in here and play hard as a team and win the whole thing. So, all of us on the same page and building that continuity and all the chemistry, everything kind of flows kind of smoothly.
Now, a big game coming up. You have this upcoming weekend as a bye week, but big game, as they all are, 2 weeks from now against the Music City Kings that all of a sudden have seemingly found their groove. How do you keep the sandstorm of the Pharaohs rolling forward?
Well, we take it one game at a time. So we do have a game this week against the Indianapolis Diesel. So after we finish this week, we'll be concerned about them next week.
That's one thing about the Pharaohs. Even when there's not a game on the NABL schedule, you guys find somebody to play. You just like being on the court.
Yeah, got to keep playing. Now, them games are important.
Very cool, man. Well, congratulations once again, Ken Buckner, after that triple-double performance, man. You did it all on the court in that win over the Birmingham Vulcans. Our Week 8 Player of the Week on the NABL. Clinging is our next headline. And no, not clinging, not clingy, like some people I know. I think we all know that person. See, there are those at the halfway point who are just clinging just to hang on to the hopes of making the postseason in the NABL's 2017 season, like Capital City, who have lost their last 2 and have the unfortunate distinction of being in the same division as Atlanta. And then there's the Birmingham Vulcans, who have dropped their last 3 while once riding quite high at the top of the Eastern's Northern Division. Then the Dallas Hoyas, who have lost 4 of their last 5 at this point. Very uncharacteristic for the Hoyas. Now, these teams are in that mid-pack who still mathematically could make a run, but still need more than just a little math to make it happen. Yeah, I'm not going to even try. There is also, regardless of what your friends and therapists may say, a good type of clinging. Yeah, because she's texting somebody and she's saying it's her friend, but it's not. Am I right? Right.
I know that's right.
Right on that. No. I'll deal with that on my private time. I mean the good kind of clinging, like when your team is still clinging to hope, no matter the odds, no matter the record, no matter the opponent. And if you need hope and faith in your life, then live like the Music City Kings do. Can I? Thank you. Who, after winning their first ever game in the NABL 2 weekends ago, you know what they did? They followed it up with their second win of their franchise and of the season on Sunday with a 97-91 win over the Panama City Piranhas. And you know what? Live your life like the Savannah Cavaliers, who were 0-6. They were down until they met up with those same Panama City Piranhas. And they won their first game of 2017, 118-91. Of course, there are those clinging to life. Yeah, not a good weekend, as you might imagine, for Panama City. Or the Austin Knights, who the Knights left as the only winless team still in the NABL. So, Austin, our prayers are now shifting to you.
You preach it, Ken.
Amen.
So with week 8 come and gone with it is the NABL trade deadline. We've been talking a lot about this leading up to it, all right? It officially ended at 12 midnight this past Saturday. Teams could no longer at 12:01 a.m. on Sunday add, sign, trade, modify, pimp out their rosters in any way from here on out. No more tricking it up. That is one sweet ride. And some sweet additions being made, too, as the Atlanta show. As if the Atlanta show needed to add more talent. The show adds big man, 6'9", 230-pounder power forward BJ Puckett. He's been a stud overseas. Watch out for him down in the paint. The DFW United, well, they added leading up a big man as well, which was the one real thing that they didn't have. Now, they have Keenan Gaskin, certainly. But to spell him off the bench, DFW didn't have that. Well, they do now. In Portland State's 6'10" center, Seth Scott. Saw this guy in action. Watch out. Hoyas grabbed a guard, too, an All-Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year in DK Eldridge. Huntsville added former Alabama Crimson Tide guard, Hunter Jeffrey. And, of course, we told you about Miss Lou already getting point guard LaShawn Murphy, who arrives here in just a little while to the Warriors. Plus, the Austin Knights added 3 players while Houston has reloaded with 2 newcomers, and Birmingham and Alamo City also making moves. Oh, the trade deadline. Oh, love it when the team owners throughout all of sports freak out like 8-year-olds having to take a state standardized test. I've been there. Also on the news front, the NABL Championship Series is just a mere 2 months away. Man, this season's flying by quick. With the NABL Final Four battling it out for supremacy in Atlanta, Georgia for the NABL trophy and title. And if this doesn't get you hyped up, yeah, even he's hyped up. But who wouldn't be if you had that to drive around? tickets, and more for the NABL Championship Series 2017 edition. Well, all the info and tickets and hotel deals, too. Get them now at nablbasketball.com. All right, let's size up the big Week 9 matchups. On deck next.
NABL Week Preview.
While the West Coast Conference enjoys one more week of nappy time, yeah, they're idle this week, but they get back into it in earnest and in full in week number 10. Hang on, because here we go with both the East and the West sizing up some powerhouses, none bigger than the two Western Conference leaders, the 6-1, as we've talked about, DFW United. They travel down I-35 to take on the 6-1 San Antonio Lions. And to fully kick the tires and dive into this collision, well, let's head down to Dallas and head up with Gerard Young, the owner of the DFW United. Well, before we dive into the games themselves, Jay, what a weekend it was for the DFW United. 6-1 now on the season, my friend. We had your head coach, Kim Green, on last week here on the backcourt, but your thoughts on the turnaround from last season and the difference in 2017 now for the DFW United?
Well, last season, coming into the season, we had about 8 players total.
Wow.
For a whole season. This season is different because we have a coach on top of having a full roster at 20. So it's a huge difference from this year and last year.
Now, there was always that tenacity and athleticism from last year, too. I mean, you played every single opponent tough. Nobody wanted to see the United on their schedule last year. But now it seems there's a more disciplined, concerted effort, not just depth on the bench. The talent level's raised. The focus seems to be there. And, it just seems to be the complete package has come together.
Yeah, man. I mean, having no big man to having 2 now. And, it's all about hard work, man. We started from the bottom, and, the outcome is even better because now we have depth on our team. So it makes us more tougher to challenge when it comes to playing us. So that's a good thing.
Now, last Saturday, it was a close call down in Austin on the road, 135-133 victory for DFW, a game where you trailed by, I believe, up to 15 at one point. Pretty late, too. Talk about battling back and then taking and stealing that win.
Man, this team here, we done had a couple of battles where we done lost the lead and been down a whole lot, and we always find the will to come back and end up winning. But in that game, man, it just came down to heart and discipline. Because we had more turnovers in that game than we ever had in any other game. So, for us to trail 15 and actually come back and win it by 2, that was huge.
Then not to be outdone, Sunday it was another NABL instant classic where the Miss Lou Warriors come in and take the United to overtime. But still, you find a way in that 116-112 to get the victory, even when DFW doesn't seem to have their best on the floor for 4 quarters. The United, you guys cannot be beat.
Yeah, man. Sunday was another challenge for us. That was another good opponent in Miss Lou. They tried to come out our necks early, but, we stayed together. We were focused. We came into that game well prepared, knowing the circumstances, knowing that we beat them by 2 the first game.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a huge statement. But, we end up coming back. We trailed by 21 at half. And once again, we find ourselves down in that situation, and we just know how to come back and just win, man.
I tell you, I got my pick segment coming up here in a little bit, and this is one I'm struggling with. Maybe you can help me. As if the NABL schedule makers knew ahead of time, Saturday could not be bigger, man. Western Conference collision, 6-1 United. You travel to San Antonio versus the 6-1 Lions. Conference lead on the line, second half of the season. What do you have to do to stop the Lions on their home court?
Well, to be honest, we have to play defense. That game is going to be based upon defense. We know we can score the ball. We know we can put up high numbers, but the main focus in that game is going to be defense. And, of course, we will have to have heart and determination in order to come out on top. because San Antonio, the Lions, they're a very scrappy team, and they know how to play together, and they don't have that many. They only have they had the same team that we had last year, about 7 to 8. So, it makes it's going to be a good game.
Looking forward to it, certainly. Certainly looking forward to it. Your team, the United, fair to say, plays with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder when it comes to the rest of the league. Is there anything, since we have you on the backcourt right now, because I know, Jay, you're a man of many words, I want to say to the rest of the NABL, the floor is yours.
Man, I just want to say it's first of all, we're blessed to be here for the second year. But most of all, we coming. I mean, I know a lot of teams, a lot of people that slept on us throughout the season, but we got it together. We got the chemistry down. We got a wonderful coach in Coach Kim. She came a long way, starting with us from having nothing to building what we have now. So it's really a good thing. But, yeah, man, we coming. A lot of people sleeping on us, but we there.
Well,
the record talks for itself.
The sleeping giant has been awoken and one of the powerhouses now. One of the great success stories, honestly. It's what the North American Basketball League is all about, and we're seeing it right there in the DFW United. Against San Antonio on the road this weekend. See that game streaming live, NABLbasketball.com. Appreciate the time, man, and congratulations on the success so far, Gerard. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Okay, so while the West is sorting itself out this weekend, the East may have its front runner already. But hey, with Atlanta, perfection is always at stake and always a target, too, for any of their opponents. And here we are with the Huntsville Force rolling in and on a roll. And now I want a Cinnabon. Huntsville, the toughest opposition perhaps to date for the show to keep the show's streak alive. Plus, Huntsville has got plenty to play for with the NABL's Eastern Northern Division still very much in play. We'll dig through the rest. Well, now, let's pick them. Oh, to you that scoffed. I got a lot of fan mail this week. I got a lot of fan mail from Piranhas fans out of Panama City who said, quote, Ken, we will give you 3 losses on your picks this year since you picked us against Savannah before. Well, no, sir. No. By the way, to those who actually sent real, actual, old-fashioned letters in, first of all, I don't know how you got my home address. And second, I'm just now getting your responses from week 2. So, okay. Email address, Ken Buckner at NABLbasketball.com. Anyway, I do love however you send them. When you send me your thoughts, I love even better when you send me those. I do. Either way, email me. Or right there on that side of the page, okay? It's on the BackCourt page. Love to hear what you have to say. All right, so let's dive in. Let's begin by picking these games and begin with maybe the toughest one, DFW and San Antonio. Now, DFW, as we said, been playing with fire in their last 2 games. They've been playing with fire in their last 2 games, but they were blowing out opponents before that. Now, San Antonio has won the games that they should have, and some maybe that nobody expected, i.e. the game over Dallas. And boy, are they dangerous at home. Well, the United have the size advantage down low and the depth off the bench, even on the road, but the Lions can shoot like madmen from 3. So this is probably the hardest prediction of the year at this point. I am not stalling, okay? I am thinking, I am analyzing this game. Here's the deal. If the Lions are hitting those shots from beyond the arc, if they're down in the 3 ball, the Lions win, period. They live and they die by the sword. But if DFW, who is really good at guarding the perimeter, if they can step up that defense to what they can do and should do, something's telling me deep down the United are just a more complete team in this one. So yeah, give me DFW to win on the road and take control of the Western Conference. It's going to be a good one. You can see that one and all of them in NABLbasketball.com. We live stream all of the games on the official online home of the North American Basketball League. Okay, Atlanta. Atlanta hosts Huntsville, as we said, and here's a preview of the playoffs in the East, folks. Just mark my words on this, but to pick against the show is just foolish. So I may be a fool, but, not when it comes to this. Even though Huntsville has had the team to put the perfect streak to bed, give me Atlanta to defend home court over the Force. Another good one to see. The Aztecs. Alamo City gets back at it Saturday against the winless Austin Knights, but there can be some interest in how a team loses games. And the way Austin is losing their games this season, it actually tells me more about the fact that they may win this game. Plus, they're at home, so give me Austin. Yeah, for your first win of 2017, Austin wins over Alamo City. Now, Houston heads out to Louisiana, and they take on, in Faraday, the Miss Lou Warriors. So look for the rebounding Warriors to defeat the rebuilding Wolverines. The Music City Kings, they take to the road as well. Can they pull off back-to-back wins? It's a rematch of only a week ago against Panama City, and the Kings did win that one, as we said, so they won't win this one. Yeah, there's logic behind this. Yes, and for you, and that's not why I'm doing it, but enjoy it, Piranhas and emailing Piranhas fans. I'm picking you. Capital City has a doubleheader Saturday and Sunday. Both games, though, are at home in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I take the Cards Saturday to beat the Savannah Cavs, and Sunday, this one's tricky. But when it's a tricky game, I usually defer to the home team when I get confused. So, against a tough Birmingham Vulcans team, but a team that's on the slide and needs a rebound game. I mean, after all, it's Rebound City, right, Birmingham? I still look for the Cards to sweep the weekend and take the W over the Vulcans. A reminder, you can see it all happen live. The live stream goes on this Saturday. It cranks back up, and as we said, it's a doubleheader weekend again for week number 9 in the NABL. See it all happen in NABLbasketball.com, and you email me. Tell me what you think about my thoughts about the games, not just my general thoughts. Or you can, about what my hair looks like this week, how I'm dressed. It's a blue shirt this week. You didn't dress up for the show. I did. I'm wearing a jacket. Big thanks once again to all of our guests on the backcourt. Man, they do it out of the goodness of their heart and actually a lot of pressure. Actually, we force them to do it. And no paid compensation for appearing here. But, Week 9, fast approaching, kicks off this Saturday, and we'll have a lot to cover next week as we are full on into the second half of the NABL's 2017 season. We'll have a clearer look not only at the NABL playoff picture, but we'll start talking NABL MVP candidates for 2017. We'll see you then. Till next week, I'm Ken Buckner. You are you, and this is the BackCourt on the NABL Network.